Welcome back, everybody! Last time we got probably one of the earliest guilty verdicts of this entire game. And today we're going to try to avoid getting a second guilty verdict because we still don't really necessarily know what we're doing. Excuse me. I did look this over just a little bit more while going about, I don't know, just trying to figure out what to do. And I've thought of a couple possible scenarios, and I'm not entirely sure. I can't exactly remember everything I presented last episode, because I'll be perfectly honest. Last episode I recorded was September 22nd at 10:17 p.m., and today it is September 28th at 3:26 a.m., so basically five and a quarter days since the last episode, so I don't necessarily remember everything that's happened. I think I remember presenting this. I think I presented that. I don't know if I presented this, or that, or this. But this is what I'm thinking here. We're trying to prove how was the victim's body not moved. We're trying to prove that. I think maybe, excuse me, it might have something to do with this. Because, I mean, this stuff is, like, right on top of him. And there's also stuff right below him. So maybe I could present that, too. I'm not entirely sure. But I think that's what we're going to go for. And we're going to see if that's, right.
Take that!
That's right. See, that's what happens. You think about it a little more deeply. And it's like, there's stuff on top of him. I actually don't really know how that proves that he wasn't moved. Because, I mean, who's to say that stuff wasn't just put on top of him after he was moved? I mean, you don't know that. Those broken bits of the lantern? Well, I'm glad I know that was the right answer, but I don't exactly see the logic, because, I mean, that could have very easily been put on top of him after the fact, but Yeah, so the body had been moved after the fact, these fragments would have fallen off of it. But as you can clearly see, they're lying perfectly undisturbed on top of the body. This means that the victim must have been lying face up from before the lantern even broke. You're right! Well, wait a minute. If that's true, then when was the victim killed? I mean, the lantern was still whole during the reception, right? Right, which means we've just overturned a major assumption about this case. If the victim was already dead before the lantern was even broken, then the body must have been inside the lantern since before the reception started. I feel like a sneeze might be coming on really soon. Excuse me. Okay. Only a single sneeze. Usually I get the double sneezes. Oh, okay. In other words, the defense asserts that the victim was killed before the wedding reception. What? Whoa. Talk about groundbreaking stuff there. In short, when Miss Wyatt was seen standing in front of the body after the reception, it wasn't the moment just after the murder was committed. It was the moment she happened to discover the body, just as Miss Wyatt claims. Objection! Whether the act was committed before or after the reception is entirely inconsequential. After all, it was the defendant who prepared the reception hall for the event in question. Therefore, when the murder occurred, changes nothing with regard to her guilt. She could have killed the victim before the reception, as you claim, and then tried to hide the body in the lantern after the event ended.
Objection!
Sorry, but that doesn't make any sense. I mean, where would the body have been hidden during the reception in your scenario? That's... Even you have to admit, Mr. Edgeworth, that this has opened up a new possibility. Do explain, Mr. Wright. Well, if Miss Wyatt didn't commit the crime in the reception hall, that means someone, somewhere, put the victim's body into the lantern. I suppose that makes sense. A dead body couldn't have put itself in there. Excuse me. Exactly, Your Honor. In other words, if the murder actually occurred before the reception, it opens up the possibility that he was killed somewhere else. The defendant didn't do it. He was killed some other way. If the murder occurred before the reception, it opens the possibility that He was killed somewhere else. Defendant didn't do it. He was killed some other way. Well... Doesn't this seem like too easy of an answer, honestly? This can't be it, right? Right? He was killed somewhere else? I gotta be honest, I have no idea. Opens up the possibility that the defendant didn't do it? Okay, nope. The defendant didn't commit this murder. Oh, for heaven's sake. Even if the murder was committed before the reception. That alone doesn't erase the suspicion against the defendant. It seems that it was too ridiculous of a leap backwards for Mr. Edgeworth, Mr. Wright. Just you look before you leap and think before you speak. I guess I got ahead of myself on that one. Okay, well, I don't even know, honestly. He was killed somewhere else? I'm gonna say that one because I feel like they do know the murder weapon, so maybe it was killed somewhere else? Yep. Okay, there we go. I knew it had to either be the one or the other, so I mean, I don't know. If the body was hidden inside the lantern, then it's possible that the body was moved along with it from somewhere else. Oh, you're right! You can run that mouth of yours all you want. But do you have any evidence to support what's coming out of it, Mr. Wright? Of course I do. I think the answer lies in that piece of evidence and in something that was left at the crime scene that will point us to where the victim was really killed. Very well, Mr. Wright. In that case, what proves that the lantern and the body were moved from somewhere else? What? I thought I was going to prove something in the picture, though. Let's see. We're moved from somewhere else. Would this work? A photo of the hold, maybe? Okay, I guess I'm overthinking this one. I honestly thought that, like, okay, well, I mean, well, the lanterns were in a different place, so of course that it would prove that they were moved from somewhere else. I don't get it. This proves that the murder took place somewhere other than the reception hall. I'm afraid I can't say that I follow. I mean, those are clearly in the hold and not the reception hall, but I mean, that doesn't prove anything. That piece of evidence won't help you make your point, Nick. Get another pointless piece of evidence from a senseless attorney. Is this the hardest case in the game? I swear. Fine, so this piece wasn't convincing enough. Even when I think I got the right answer, it's still not the right answer. Then there must be something else that would be easier for the judge to understand. Okay, let's look at this again then in that case. You could look at whoever it was. He specifically mentions the lantern too. That's what makes it confusing to me. That is what makes it a little confusing. Love is always on the air, flying chapel, the only wedding venue sure to make your dreams come true. After the ceremony on the Vista deck, Sprocket Aviation's majestic Pegamoo mascots will light up. Happy couple from both sides of the sweetheart table. Well, that doesn't really answer anything. Note found near the victim's body. Writing a smudge as though they're written in a right-handed person. I mentioned the Vista deck, so maybe that could be the answer too? I don't really know, actually. It could be anything. Reception all is obscured. Okay. I don't see anything there. I don't see anything there. Okay, so I'm gonna go with Gloomsbury's note? It said the Vista deck, and that's where she was attacked, so I mean, like... Okay, so it's not that either. Oh gosh, we are not off to a good start today. What the heck, man? Okay. After the ceremony out on the Vista deck? That one? Nope. Oh, so help me. Those both mentioned the Vista deck, so I thought maybe one of those would be the answer. Wait, this one mentions the Vista deck too. Oh, frickin' crud, man, I swear. Nope, none of those are the answer. All the Vista decks are wrong. Okay, okay. The hold is wrong. The Vista decks are wrong. They prove nothing. I see no need to further prolong this trial. Defense's case is insufficient to overturn the prosecution's claims. This court finds the defendant Ellen Wyatt. Woo! Guilty again! Let's go! Second guilty of the case already! This has got to be a new record at this point. Have I ever been guilty twice this quickly? No, I definitely have. I have to have. There's probably something in the first game where I really struggled. Maybe even Apollo Justice. I don't remember. But I definitely had to have struggled at least at some point in one of those games. Okay. What proves that they're removed from somewhere else? That proves nothing. This is wrong. This is wrong. Excuse me. Maybe the lantern itself? Maybe? Not the note. Tries to emit a large amount of thick fog. Murder weapon dubbed the timekeeper to clock with a secret mechanism. I don't see how this would prove jack squat, honestly, so that's gonna be a no. I can't see how that would be it. Though I can't rule out the possibility that would be it either. We already know this isn't it either. One contusion was found in the back of the head and on the side. The blows were caused by the same weapon. Uh-huh. I'm just gonna present the lantern itself. I don't even know, man. Okay, so those aren't it either. Okay, we're moving to this page then. Maybe it is the photo of the victim. I don't get it. The photo of the victim again. Yes. What am I presenting? I like the court to focus on this thing right here. The stuff on his pants and right here, maybe? You know what? I'm gonna present that and hopefully that's the right answer. Flower petals, Mr. Wright. Oh boy. Indeed. These petals are from a kind of flower that were not present in the reception hall. This means that they must have gotten into the lantern when it was somewhere else. Just where do you propose this somewhere else to be, Mr. Wright? I don't know. I propose that this piece of evidence will tell us where the flower petals come from. I don't know. Make sure you have... Okay, no, I don't see anything there. I don't see any flower petals here. Are those flower petals there? But that's the reception hall, so what does that prove? Well, there's a thing right there. Boom. Please take a look at this flower in the picture of the hold. Notice how their petals are the same shape as the petals in the crime scene photo? You know, I presented this earlier. I mean, I was kind of getting a little bit ahead of myself. Like, ooh, look at how it's in the hold right there. I mean, it's very easily could be proof that it was there. And it's like, what proves that? And I'm like, it's the flower petals, obviously. I mean, I don't know. I could have done that. They could have made that work. Come on, Capcom, you could have made that work. You know, I was on the right track, but I was like, you just like, no. Like, no, that's not legal. That's illegal. Notice how the petals are the same shape as the petals in the crime scene photo?
Yes, I see. They do look to be from the same kind of flower. Objection! Objection, they are not the same flower.
Objection, Edgeworth is so weird to me, honestly. I just like my Edgeworth voice better.
Is that really all you've got? A flower is a flower is a flower. They're all the same. I would hardly call what you presented compelling evidence. I'm afraid I couldn't disagree with you more, Mr. Edgeworth. I gave a flower this type to my lovely wife once when we were young. So I can assure you that this is very meaningful and compelling evidence indeed. The soundness of my judgment in this matter is backed by nothing less than pure love. But, Your Honor.
Let it go and move on, Mr. Edgeworth. Prosecutor Sadmati possessed me right there. I'm so sorry. It's clear you don't know much about flowers. It's not like you have anyone you'd actually give any to after all. But maybe you should study up on them, just in case the opportunity presents itself.
Ugh! This is from the man who only knows the names of 3 types of flowers.
Oh? That's hardly relevant to the case at hand. Also, what are the 3 types of flowers that he knows? He really doesn't know that many flowers, huh? But true, that's not relevant. Defense asserts that it's highly probable that the victim was killed in the hold. The body was then placed in the lantern and moved to the reception hall for some reason. Ooh, yeah. It would completely destroy the prosecution's case. Did you mean the body was... Yes, the victim's body was inside the lantern during the entire beautiful wedding reception, while the defendant and her betrothed were celebrating their love.
What?
Whoa.
Objection.
That's right, Edgeworth. You're gonna object, and that's final.
I object. That was objectionable. Wait, what? Your smooth talk might work on his honor, but it won't work on me.
What are you talking about now?
Take another look at all the evidence and you'll soon see what I mean.
I wish you would just tell me already.
Detective Sky, I'm sure you've already figured out what I'm talking about, correct?
Of course, sir. Mr. Wright is the only one who hasn't. Why don't you leave this to me, Mr. Edgeworth?
Very well, let's see what you can do. Detective Sky, please give your testimony to this court.
Emma's clearly lying to the court, Your Honor. I think she's the killer. The prosecution's rebuttal. The victim could not have been killed before the reception. The autopsy report states that the estimated time of death was after the reception. And that estimated time of death is correct. There's no way it could be wrong. Oh, yeah? It's clear Mr. Gloomsbury was killed after the reception. And that completely contradicts your claim. I guess so.
Tell me you look at least a cursory glance at the autopsy report, Mr. Wright. It appears you've grown rusty since our last outing. Might I suggest you go back and brush up on the basics?
Sure, though I must say, you're as cocky as ever, Mr. Edgeworth.
I beg your pardon?
What are you trying to say, Mr. Wright? I'm just saying that I'll go back to the basics, if that's what Mr. Edgeworth wants. I'll prove how badly he's underestimating me with a good old-fashioned cross-examination. ...
How dare you? Very well, let's see what... You put your money where your mouth is, Mr. Wright.
Yes, let's put that money where our mouth is. Oh, snap.
The prosecution's rebuttal.
The victim could not have been killed before the reception. And Emma, how exactly do you know that? How can you prove that? I bet you can't really prove that now, can you? Alright, let's see what we got here this time. Sound pretty certain you must have some solid grounds for making this claim, right?
Of course I do. And you're going to feel silly when I show you what they are. Ready? Feast your eyes on this.
Okay, so that's just it, right? Okay, there's literally 3 things here. The autopsy report states that the estimated time of death was after the reception. I've read the autopsy report too, you know.
Oh, have you?
I mean, we have, right? I'm pretty sure we did. Yeah, we did. Absolutely we did. Then you don't need me to explain it to you, right? How there's no way the victim could have been killed before the reception, I mean. Detective Sky. I think you've overlooked something big. I have? Why don't you take another look at the evidence? But I've already looked at all the evidence. And quite carefully too, I'll have you know.
Detective Sky. Do not be taken in by his verbal antics. He is simply bluffing as always.
Right, sir. Indeed. And the estimated time of death is correct. There's no way it could be wrong. We'll see about that. It's possible the culprit did something to obscure the real time of death? No, not in this case. There was no snow or anything to keep the body from decomposing. And there's no fridge on the airship big enough to fit a body into. So you've already checked into that, I see. It all comes down to the estimated time of death, doesn't it? Couldn't the killer mess with the victim's time of death by keeping the body on ice? Yeah, if they had a means to. Prosecution is treating the estimated time of death as an absolute. But is it really? I take it you don't think it is, huh, Nick? In that case, we're going to have to find a way to convince them otherwise. Yeah, it's got to be a way somehow. Okay, so I would probably have to go with... excuse me, something like this. If I say use like dry ice to emit a large amount of thick fog-like vapor. That seems likely anyway, but I mean... I don't know. It's not like the fog would be really cold or anything, but still. I see nothing crazy in there anyway. And obviously this doesn't have anything in it either. I'm just going to present this and see what happens. Objection! Okay, there we go. I admit that the estimated time of death does contradict my theory. Finally, and that means your theory that the victim was killed before the reception is still entirely plausible. Huh? What makes you think that? Killer could have falsified the time of death by using a certain item in the reception hall. Please take a look at this.
And what is that contraption, Mr. Wright?
It's a fog machine, Your Honor, used to create a special romantic atmosphere in the hall.
And this machine could have been used to falsify the time of death?
Yes, Your Honor, because this machine uses dry ice to perform its magic.
Dry ice? Ah, yes, the super cold stuff commonly used to make theatrical fog, right? I see, so your claim is that the dry ice was used to keep the body cold.
Oh, I didn't think about that. I'm stupid. In that case, I guess the victim could have been killed before the reception. Whoa! Mind-blowing! Dry ice! Crazy!
Order! Order in this court! Well, Mr. Edgeworth, what do you have to say about this development? That the victim was killed in the hold before the wedding reception. Prosecution acknowledges the possibility of this claim.
Now we're getting somewhere.
I deny the possibility. Prosecution would also like to thank you, Mr. Wright.
Huh? For what?
I didn't know how a certain piece of evidence fit into this case. But now, thanks to you, I do.
What piece of evidence?
To get into the hold, one needs a key card like this one. And here we have a record of those who entered the hold with such key cards.
Oh, Dumas, Gloomsbury, Pierce, Cody, and Ellen Wyatt.
Times aren't specified, but these are the last 3 entries on the day of the murder. And as you can see, the last person to enter the hold that day was the defendant.
What?
So the one who moved the body out of the hold must have been... That's right, it was none other than the defendant.
Hold entry record added to the court record. I mean, her card could have just been stolen or missing or whatever. Hold entry record added to the court record. A record of the key cards used to access the airship hold. Hey Nick, take a look at this entry record. A couple of other names on here besides Ellen's. Huh, you're right. According to the entry record, Mr. Edgeworth, Pierce Nicody had also gone into the hold. Who's to say that he wasn't the one who murdered him, huh? That's all it says, just the same as we already saw. Isn't it possible that he could have been the culprit?
Objection! Sorry, Mr. Nicody was escorting a few of the guests at the time. I'm sure they would be happy to testify to that fact if you'd like. Think me cocky all you'd like, Mr. Wright. My confidence is rarely misplaced.
Arg.
Now then, it's probably safe to assume that after killing the victim in the hold, the defendant moved his body to the hall in order to dispose of it discreetly.
What do you mean by discreetly?
The defendant volunteered to take care of the reception's cleanup personally. That means she would have had a chance to dispose of anything in any way she wanted, including taking the lantern off the airship without raising any suspicion. Don't tell me you didn't know about Miss Wyatt volunteering for cleanup duty, Mr. Wright.
For my last task as a servant of the Sprocket household, I offer to take on the preparation and cleanup of the reception banquet.
I see. Gah!
Look at you sweating buckets like a rookie even after all these years. Nevertheless, thank you for proving that the only person who could have killed the victim in the hold is Ellen Wyatt.
Ugh! Great job, Phoenix. Now we're back to square one.
Perhaps you should ask Miss Sykes for some help in reviewing Defense for Dummies.
Way to go, sir. You got Mr. Wright in a cold sweat.
I wonder if maybe the promise of seeing that miserable look on his face is what brought me back to court today. It certainly made all of my stress and woes as chief prosecutor that just melt away.
I guess he had a lot of stress built up. I'll give him some of this stress over before we're through today.
Your Honor, the prosecution asks that you render your verdict at this time. Before that man over there tries to throw the court into chaos with his meaningless bluffs. I see, Mr. Wright. Are there any less meaningful bluffs you'd like to present to this court?
Why does he have to assume it'll be a bluff? Nick, hurry up and throw a good one out there! I will. Well, alright then. Let's see. I've got it! How do you know it was Miss Wyatt who used her key card? After all, if it turns out somebody else used her card, I mean, Miss Wyatt didn't do it!
Interesting. Are you able to prove this bluff to be true?
I assure you, I'm not bluffing, Your Honor. Well, now what? Wait a minute, Nick! I can think of a certain somebody who might have used Ellen's key card. You can? Remember? The one who was sneaking around the hold, in spite of not being a family member. Oh, that's right. Your Honor, the defense would like to call a certain witness to the stand. I need a testimony of this person who may have entered the hold with Miss Wyatt's card. No. No. Are we talking about Larry Butts? Didn't Larry have the card? Who else would have had the card? Is that not him? It's not him. It's not him because he had his own card. She's dead. I didn't even know she got out of the thing. Selena Sprocket, age 25, Soren's older sister. She passed away due to her injuries from a car accident. It's not Maya. It's not Emma. It's not Ellen. Definitely not Athena. It's just Larry. Next thing you know, we're gonna get Larry in trouble for this murder.
That's your witness? Are you saying that numbskull was on the airship? He never breathed a word about that to me.
It's not surprising because Mr. Nicody told him to keep quiet about it. Mr. Butts himself admitted it to me. He claimed to have found a way to sneak onto the Flying Chapel's hold to see Miss Wyatt. This photo he took and gave to me as proof. Then, was it he who moved the lantern with the body inside to the reception hall? You know as well as I that with him anything is possible. And this is one possibility we should definitely look into. I can't believe this. What in the world is he doing mixed up in this? Come on, Mr. Edgeworth. Remember what we've been saying since elementary school? When something smells, it's usually the butts. Indeed. Exactly. Gah, that Larry, he'll pay for this. Well, if you want to extract your payment now, he's right up there in the gallery. Yikes!
Bailiff, seize the witness before he makes a run for it.
No! Why does this stuff always happen to me? Sorry, Larry, but you brought this on yourself.
Let us break for a 15-minute recess. I ask that both sides prepare for the next witness's testimony during this time.
Sounds like a plan to me, anyway. Note to be continued, no save screen. September 22nd, District Court, Defendant Lobby, number 3. Well, everyone, I think on the next exciting episode, we'll go ahead and have our recess and get back into the trial, I guess. We only had one more guilty verdict in this episode, only one more. It could have been, it could have been far, far worse, but thankfully it wasn't, so, yep. Anyway, next episode, hopefully, we don't have another guilty verdict, so, will we have another one? I hope not, but I mean, do you think I'll have another one? Let me know what you think in the chat or comments below, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Bye-bye. Woo! Hello, everyone. You've reached the end of this video, but before we go for the day, I'd just like to give a quick shout-out to the Tier 4 and 5 channel members, Phoenix Edgeworth, Acheron X2, Menthy, and Meister Papala. Thank you all for being awesome and supporting the channel. If you too would like to also get your name shouted out at the end of each video and live stream, shoutouts are available for all Tier 4 and 5 channel members. I hope you all have an awesome day. I'll see you all later.